the San Diego Chargers actually had some positives this season. Even though, in spite of being moved to LA, other than that, though, it's been pretty good to be a Chargers fan. I think one thing for sure is the improvement on the pass rush and the defensive side of the ball. I know having Verrett out there and Hayward on the defensive side of the ball was great. Joey Boza obviously had a very good rookie season. I also look at Melvin Gordon. He stepped his game up. But the one thing that they have a problem at is at receiver. And I think at the draft, they need to target a big target out there, a nice red zone threat where they can get. Because they can't just rely on Antonio Gates on the red zone. And I know Antonio Gates is chasing for that record and all that. And yes, they're going to be targeting him, but Antonio Gates is still not the same threat. So they're going to need some wide receiver help there. Also, they're going to need the help at tight end. Maybe get a speed tight end. I know Julius Thomas is on the trading ball. I know Martellus Bennett is available, and he has some athleticism in him. And obviously, you could look at Jacob Tamme of the Atlanta Falcons. I think that he could be a very good fit right there. Also, you could try Benjamin Watson. He could be a very good. Obviously, he's coming off of an injury, though. That's a little iffy, but that's definitely something that they should focus on. When it looks at that, they actually did have some positives, and it's actually pretty good. On the defensive side of the ball, they actually have players that are actually reasonable and ones that you can actually rely on. But right now, though, on defense, it's more important about depth than it is about having individual studs and stars. So you're really going to need to develop that depth. I look at possibly looking at Dante Hightower. I know he's available free agent. He just denied a contract with the New England Patriots. Doesn't mean he's going to be officially free agent, but he could possibly be one of those, and I think he's definitely a guy you should look at. Obviously, in the draft, you've got some good aggressive linebackers there if you're very interested in them, and I think that could be very good to go after. And you're going to really need to build the depth, and also at cornerback, maybe having a good second corner there would definitely be helpful. Obviously, Logan Ryan's going to hit the market. I know he's a name out there, and then maybe even Revis, he could hit the market depending if he gets cut or not. And if you look at it, I would say maybe Vontae Davis might be on the trading block and all that. That would also be good. Get some depth at corner. Also, they're definitely going to need some safety help. Obviously, they lost Eric Weddle. That was definitely one thing that was upset. I know Eric Weddle was very angry at the owner, and so he decided to go to the Ravens. So safety, obviously there are safeties there. You got Eric Berry, very good one right there. Adrian Amos is a very talented, athletic safety that could be on the trading block. He might be very interesting to have. And then also you got Jefferson of the Arizona Cardinals. So safety is definitely something to look at. Also, there's some heavy hitters you could look at on the market possibly. I think one guy you could possibly trade for is T.J. McDonald of the L.A. Rams. He hits hard, all right. And that's definitely one guy you might want to look at. And it would definitely help you as a playmaker because, and obviously he's not going to be Rodney Harrison of the San Diego Chargers, but at least you've got some guy who would just knock the teeth out of some sorry receiver that's coming across the field. I think that's definitely something you could look at. And also you could look at safety in the draft. I think there's been some luck about drafting safety and some of the high rounds in recent memory, so that's definitely something you could look at. Now, obviously, when you look at Phillip Rivers, I don't think you should trade away Phillip Rivers. I know you could get a lot there, but you still got some older players here and there. And also, I look at it, Keenan Allen just needs to stay healthy. That's why I'm saying they need depth at receiver. Also, because they need Keenan Allen to obviously stay healthy. Two ending year surgeries and all that just hasn't been going his way. You could possibly look at, I'm not sure how many big name big targets out there. Obviously, Anquan Bolden might be a guy. He's a little bit older, though. Brandon Marshall could obviously still play, but that would be a good guy to look at, a nice big target. And obviously, if the Jets are willing to trade him away, I doubt it, but that would be something you could possibly look at. Also, you got Sammy Watkins of the Buffalo Bills. He was drafted in 2014. This is going to be 2017, so he might be playing for a contract here and there. And the Bills, sometimes in those contract years, they might trade the player away, and maybe Sammy Watkins might be one of those players that I think you can get a nice underneath guy right there for Phillip Rivers to work with. So I think that's a possibility. Also, I would definitely consider drafting a quarterback in the second round for it. And hell, it could be in the late second round, but just get a guy that you have confidence in that you could have after Phillip Rivers. That's something that they need to get ahead of the game. I heard the Arizona Cardinals are thinking about drafting Mitch Trubisky, but I definitely think you would get some product out of the second round. I mean, look at Jimmy Garoppolo in New England. He's doing. He looks like he's doing pretty well and all that. So obviously, look at the second round for that. Also, you're going to need some. I would definitely look at the offensive line. I feel like a nice left tackle would be good. Or even better, you might want to look for some guard help. I wonder if there's any. I'm not sure how many good guards are on the market. Probably not many, but guards you can usually draft lower in the rounds. And let's just say you have a high fourth round pick, which they probably do. That would be something to look at to draft a guard here and there, and you could get some production, and that will definitely help Melvin Gordon a lot. Also, how about you invest into a receiving back? Remember when Darren Sproles was a San Diego Charger? He was pretty good there. There might be some receiving backs in the market. Dion Lewis, I think he just ended his last year's contract, I believe, or if he's on his last year, so you can possibly get him the trade. If you look at the Jets with Bly Powell, he might be a very interesting guy to look at too. Of the New York Jets, I think that could be good. Jarrett McKinnon of the Vikings, that guy could be a potential guy to go after. Maybe Turbin of the Indianapolis Colts. Those are some things that you should go for after that. Now, they had an interesting hiring in Anthony Lynn. I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's a running backs coach. So ideally, what they're going to do is maybe they're going to try to develop more of what Dallas tried to do with Ezekiel Elliott. So they maybe want to try to load it up the line. So they could possibly drop down the draft a couple spots just to get an offensive lineman here and there, and maybe spare some picks in the future. It might be the more ethical decision right there. So obviously, Chargers are actually not in a terrible position because they got a quarterback there. That's probably the reason. So if they get Keenan Allen healthy, I can see this team as 8-8, and that could be very good. But also, it's not too far away from being a playoff team, and I feel like that wild card spot is open for them.